You guys might remember him as Reggie when he was with the ANC Youth League. And then there was a very long period when he dominated the charts and the celebrity sign-ups and whatnot. The entire nine jazz under a brand, Mabala Noise. If you guys remember, Mabala was everywhere. You just had Mabala this side, Mabala this side, Mabala this side. Everybody signed there. Everybody signed there. And if you remember, this was a period, if you think, Abo Kanimba, Abo Chichila Main, Abo Major League, Abo Nasty C, all the mandems were Mabala Noise. So Mabala Noise was out there. They were doing their thing. They were prominently known so. And he himself, this Reggie, as you might actually know him as, when he was under the ANC Youth League, I mean, like, there was all kinds of things that were said. Hey, is ANC money being used to fuel celebrity lives and whatnot? I remember there was a time when I think the compensations were up to like 5 million. It was trending all over the place. And that's around the time when, for me personally, I kind of got to know about the Mandems. So there is an article that came out yesterday, I think, if I am not wrong, announcing that Reggie is now a pastor. I was like, hey, there's a lot happens over the years. Is a lot has happened for where we are right now. That Reggie has gone from political party, ANC Youth League, music CEO, Mabala Noise, to pastor on the pulpit and the whole nine jazz. Structured show, daily Christian commentary videos, other episodes done today, they be down in the pinned comments. So I thought it was an interesting one. Y'all know I'm a champion of people coming to faith. When people come to faith, I am the most excited. Whether they mean it or they don't mean it, I'm not there to question. I'm more excited to hear them saying that they've given it a listen. I know that's all it takes for the Holy Spirit to do his thing. An article was written by the Daily Sun for this entire whole jazz, and the article goes alongside this something along these lines. Basically, they say an exclusive. So I'm guessing this was particularly towards the Daily Sun, might not be anywhere else. So it's exclusive. Ex-ANC Youth League leader swaps politics for the pulpit. We go down. Now a man of God, former Youth League treasurer, General Reggie, governor, and Kabinde is in the purple Archbishop robe. Formerly the Ram they said we held an exclusive, popular known governor, is now an archbishop of his church, the Living Word of Christ Ministries. So now, first things first here. People might say, and did he become born again? That now he's now Archbishop and the whole nine jazz. He's been off the public's side for a while. It's been off the public's eyes for a while, and I think Mabala Noise kind of went silent after a little bit. It went a little bit silent, so that might mean that he probably, maybe we'll see him on a podcast. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll see him on Church Reality podcast. Reggie, this is the number. We would love to hear your story. And so he states it there on the article that church members received a flyer on Sunday, March 23rd, showing that Kabinde is in purple robes, it revealed that he is now a Mfundisi and told them about the church's Easter Passover convention. The convention will feature gospel artists Winnie Mashaba, Dumi Kopstad, and it will be held in Krugersdorp. Okay. And from the 3rd of April all the way up until the 4th and so forth. It says, I have always known I have a calling to serve in this way. Even when I was active in politics, there was a voice guiding me, but I chose to focus on my political responsibilities at the time. Now, a lot of people, of course, start in the public space, serve in a public space in some form or shape. And in there, you kind of see, the teaching ability and all that kind of stuff. All of that kind of built up in whatever they do. Maybe they teach it somewhere or whatnot. So, and then it reveals their gifting. And then when they go into ministry, it's kind of like not a shocker, right? Like you see charisma in other people. Then before you know it, you see them in things. You hear that so-and-so is a musician. Then you hear that he's a pastor actually. So it doesn't shock that the public image is not just that, is that they actually hold to a much deeper thing. Now, the most interesting part for me when I kind of saw this entire thing was not necessarily how he got saved. Maybe we'll get to hear that. Like I said, there's now podcasts and whatnot. Maybe we'll hear about all those. And so it's that, where is he now? I wonder. We know the political era. We know the Mabala noise era. But where is he now? Like, okay, yeah, Pastor, what do you believe? Like that's what my interest was when I saw that. Where is he now? What does he believe? What does he hold to? I don't want to know. People mostly have weird questions like, who's your favorite gospel musician? For me, I don't think that's a question that holds any significance. I think it's more, okay, you're a church figure. To establish an understanding about this particular journey, you think, what exactly do you hold to? What is communion to you? The Trinity? Who is Jesus? What do you think about baptism? What is your position on salvation? Are you losing salvation, or you don't believe in losing salvation? Are you Calvinist? Are you Arminian? Where do you stand? Premillennial, postmillennial, rapture? Where do you stand in things? So those are kind of like the question that I have on thinking. But I don't know. Maybe there is a sermon you've seen online. You can send it over to me on that WhatsApp number that I displayed a little bit earlier on. I'd love to hear what the man then believes on any of this subject. Strict Reality Show, daily Christian commentary videos. Now there is a particular verse that I wanted to read here before I go. And this verse comes from the book of Luke. It's Jesus describing what happens in after the gospel's message has been revealed. And Jesus puts it like this. He says, so Luke chapter number 16, verse number 15 to 16. And he says, so he said unto them, you are the ones who justify yourselves before men, but God knows your hearts, for what is prized amongst men is detestable before God. So there are things that we uphold and we look at with all amazing, like the way people look at money and whatnot, and it becomes the center of life, and we lose sight on truth, value, family values, and all these type of things, and we lose those aspects of is there are things that people look at that God detests. Listen to this verse now, verse 16. It says, the law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. Okay? That was the center. Now think about that. The law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. That's an interesting one. That you have today, you have people trying to proclaim the law. Oh my goodness, did you see that? The law and the prophets were proclaimed until John. Jesus is saying that was it. Why are you dragging it any further? You don't go no further than when John. Until John, since that time, the gospel of the kingdom is being preached. Continuous. From that time, it's been preached. Now we have a different agenda. Oh, they won't like that. They're not going to like that at all. And Jesus himself is telling you. Until John. And everyone is forcing his way into it. Now, this is a positive and a negative. I remember when my mentor said it the first time, it pretty shocked me. Because, you thought, people, everybody's forcing their way in to get into the kingdom. Everybody is trying to be saved. But then my mentor mentioned another thing. If Jesus is the one that brings us in, why are they forcing themselves? It's because there's a lot of people that take on the title Christian. So they are forcing the idea onto themselves, but they are not. Right? We live in a day and age where there is a lot of that, where there's a lot, we just look for whatever will associate and build a brand, and then we ride. There are people who literally live and think of life only from a financial position. Sorry if you can hear the bike. The man them does his rides once or twice in a day. I think he's fixing it or something. And so, but for many are pushing their way into it. It's not a positive. There is a positive to it, that there are people who really want to hear the message of the gospel and be saved. But then there are people who are forcing themselves in. They're not coming in the right way. And that was pretty shocking. When I heard it in that manner, it was very shocking for the first time. I was like, wow, that's interesting that God offers it, but they still feel the need to push their way in. Instead of coming the right way, they'll use the wrong way. We always pray that people don't come the wrong way. We always pray that they don't use the kingdom's message to just fit, right? But when people announce that they are saved, we don't know if they are or they are not. You would have heard me mentioning this several times. There are people who heard the gospel. For some, they heard it, but they just associated with it, but were never saved. Reggie might have been born again for years and years, and for all these other years, he's probably been building his faith. We hear from him for years, right? And so, for a lot of people, they might have that struggle again, is that, the moment you hear that he's now a pastor, you're like, when did he become saved? You have all these questions, but remember, he's been off the public image for a very long time. So a lot might have happened in that time. We don't know. Okay? We shouldn't, we don't want to become salvation police. Can question what people believe, but we don't want to become salvation police. All we have is a wish that all men would come in by Jesus, the only way in, not pressed in. It's Ricky, and I'll see you on the later on episode. Other episodes on today down in the pinned comments, and y'all have a beautiful one.